Good morning, everybody. I'm so sorry about not being here on Tuesday of this week because I know there's a lot of people who like to come in here, and sometimes my job and my life, um, things come up that where I need to get things done and jump in to what I have going on in my business to get my bills and everything paid. Week 9 of the 10, this is all about taking action. And when it comes to taking action, I don't need notes because when we take action, it's about taking action in our life. And what do I mean by take action? That means that we're going to take action that of our journey, of where we're going, how we feel about ourselves, being mindful, everything that we've learned over this last 10 weeks. The previous weeks to this, when we started out, was the introduction of personal growth, and we every single week we've had a series, a 1 hour series, typically twice a week. This week we missed 1 week, but sometimes in life we miss out on things. We miss out on opportunities. We miss out on things, but we pick up where we left off, and we learn lessons from how that happened. This week, I had no control over not being here on Tuesday, but that's what it is. Good morning, Farm Girl. Farm Girl, I moved my office and I have a copy of that book. I'm going to picture it and send it to you, um, of the book that I was talking about in that film, which is really good. I reference to it sometimes. We're talking about week 9, and I want everyone to know I apologize for not being here Tuesday. This is something that helps me out. One of the things that I can honestly say is today I don't need notes. I'm looking at what we talked about here over the last 8 weeks, my little agenda, for a breakdown of what we've done, of what we've done. I had a conversation with somebody this morning that was letting things that somebody said bother them. And when you let things that happen in your life, and this is part of taking action, affect the way you feel about yourself, because somebody said something. Once you get into a toxic person's comments and you let them interrupt your life and how you feel about yourself, or cause your own self-critic to come out, you have to recognize that. And that's where, because we automatically go to comforts that they might be right, we automatically just go to these behaviors that we know. Taking action in your life means restructuring the way that you think, not letting someone get your fuel. A rocket goes somewhere, it has a destination, and all of its fuel is used to get to that destination. And with your life, your fuel is your energy, your thoughts about yourself, how you feel about yourself. When you introduce people with toxic ideas or have toxic behaviors into your life, you're giving them your fuel. And that's where boundaries come from. And I'm going to give you some tools starting today, even right now. When you're taking action, that means you're checking in with yourself. And here's a really good tool. Realize that some of your thoughts are intrusive. They don't belong there, and let your natural thoughts run through. Watch how much you scroll. Watch what you're really thinking about and what your agenda is in your head through your habitual thinking. Just in a matter of days, when you start habitually thinking that things will roll forward, things are going to happen for me, and it matters to me what is going to happen with my fuel. Who gets my thought? Who validation is it that I really need? It's your own. So we built we structured a mindset in our life, and we have these narratives and these stories in our life that we've always told ourselves. And sometimes these stories, they need rewritten. And it's okay to sometimes feel down or some of my fuels went away, but don't get that confused with just your body's natural nervous system tell you when to take a break for yourself. Sometimes we need to take breaks from people, take breaks from agendas, and look at our own agenda. So taking action means everything that we've ever talked about, every little show that I've had, every little video that I make, it's all about taking action in your life, taking accountability in your life, having a mindset that serves your goal, your purpose, and straight through of where you're going in your life. Personal growth takes a conscious effort to go somewhere in your mind and be comfortable with how you feel about yourself. And when you really start doing it, you look back and you can laugh at a lot of the things, some of the beliefs that you've had into your life, and realize that they're not true. They were true at a moment. They might have been true at some point, or they may not be true at all. And it's just something you believe because of what authority told you that. Maybe in a parent, maybe in a relationship that you were in, maybe a group of friends. Sometimes toxic people like to say things to us because they don't do their own inventory. Toxic people love it when they get to insult you, when they get to just tell somebody that you are this or that. That's a toxic person because they feel that you might be better than them. They have an agenda we can't get in their mind. And some people say that it's narcissism. Everybody has characteristic traits to be a narcissist, but I think that there's just truly generally toxic people out there, and hopefully that they come into our room and rooms like this so they themselves can grow. But we have to be aware of that. We have to be aware of the what's out there. You see a nice lake and you want to go swimming in it. And some people won't because they've been told, oh, there might be a snake. There might be something in the water that you can't see. That's life. You can't see. But we take the risk anyway. We take the risk anyway. We go swimming. We enjoy life. We take the risk, and we have to tone down the noise that's in our head that impedes us from enjoying our life today. So just tell you right now, today, I choose to be happy. Say that to yourself. I choose to use my fuel on my thoughts and my direction in life. I choose to continue believing in my higher power so I can grow and that I can be happy. And it shows to me, and be your own audience. Observe your life once. So who's the observer? Because at any given time, are we really watching our behavior? Are we observing where our fuel's going? Are we observing where our thoughts take us to? When you do that, it's going to help you identify these limiting beliefs that we have, which are narratives that we've written that aren't true about ourselves. And when it comes to fear, just go through it. Just do it. Don't be afraid of what people think. That is just a fuel leak. That is just a hole punctured in your energy. Fear. Fear is there for hundreds of thousands of years ago when we had to have fear because we were probably on menus back then. So you can't let toxic people, you can't be their menu. You can't be, Ray a la carte. Go after this person, knock this person down to feel better about yourself. And we're going to just talk about us taking action, developing our mindset, preparing for the journey in life of what you're going to need. There's going to be some strange stops, without a doubt. We're going to run into some strange individuals. There's going to be times where we just wish that we weren't there. There's going to be times where people are going to say things. This is true. And I was on a conversation this morning with somebody that's letting what some people say take away their fuel and their energy from themselves, doubting themselves. When you're doubting yourself, stop the trip up. Just because there's a hurdle in the racetrack, jump over it. That's actually a sport. Who can run faster? Well, who can run faster with things in the way? But who can live more peacefully with things in the way? So think of that your life not as a race because we want to enjoy it, but you're going to jump some hurdles. They're going to be in front of you. And when you step just right and you're running, you can jump over the hurdle and continue to run. Jump over the hurdle and continue to run, knowing it's there, seeing it. Understanding that resilience in life and bouncing back is easy because it's up to you. We don't need people to go away. We can just turn the volume down on what we feel is taking our fuel. Where do you want to spend your energy and time this weekend? What do you want to be thinking about in your alone time? Who do you want to give secrets to? Who can you trust in life? All the answers to all of this is you, and you. That's who you trust. That's what you do. You take care of yourself. With that being said, your fuel belongs to you. So when you eat something for energy, your body is using all that energy up for fuel to move, to think, to happen. When you bring in, that's so true. You can truly trust as yourself. But when we can find people that we can still trust, because that goes back to last week of the communication, of what we communicate and who we can communicate to. So when we bring fuel into our minds, we want that fuel to be used for us, not to be wasted on others. So when I was saying that we eat calories is what burns into energy in our body, when we bring in those calories, our body's using that energy. We can't give it to somebody else. So when we're bringing things into our mind and our thoughts that come in, you are feeding a mind that will play tricks on you. And it likes to be comfortable. It's almost like a couch potato, this mind of ours can be. And that's where living authentically is, to break it through observation of self, through journaling, through understanding what we think, what gives us our anxieties, our fears, where we're afraid to go, where we're not afraid to go, and to go somewhere different. You know, in my life, I've always known I was good at things, but I was trapped into certain types of jobs where I was a magnet to individuals who like to complain. And it wasn't so much my work, but at one point, I might have believed that it was. Then I realized through my people pleasing and other things that I had some work to do on me, which brought me to commercial work, which brought me to more buildings and things bigger and better that I can build on. But that's not who I am. That's just what I do. And that helped me to discover that who I am is somebody who can coach himself, bring in good books, good thoughts about the way I live, and recognize situations and failures in my life that I didn't understand. And I had to put work into understand about why I felt the way I did about things, why I got this emotion when something happened, or why I had a fear or intimidation about when something came about in my life, and how I reacted to it, and how it was all autopilot from being a child. I grew up with 5 older brothers, 3 older sisters, 2 younger brothers, and parents. And it was a good family unit, but there was a lot of personalities there. There was a lot of things there, a lot of things that about our family, all being in the same house. So that molded me for the world, but it also put me around a lot of personalities. And what I did with that information is I had to shut down sometimes on some of the things. So I embraced the challenge to find out who I was, so I could grow personally. And it, growing personally is almost a way. It's almost pivotal to achieve happiness, because what's pivoting and what's changing is really our thoughts, the narrative that we have, the narrative that we have. And my narrative ended up being, if I really want to be happy, I need to do more for myself than others. That's what it came down to. And it's not selfishness. It's recognizing that I go to bed with my thoughts. So what did I do for myself that day? I wake up with my energy in the morning, and what I'm going to do that builds on taking action in my life. When we take action in our life, that's action for us, for how we feel, for what we're doing. That's taking action. That's going back to the little story I just told, where I was too busy people pleasing and pleasing people. Good morning. I'm so glad you're in here, and I hope everyone's having a great day and happy summertime. And today we're talking about taking action and taking action in our life. Taking action for what our fears, our feelings, boundaries that we know we should be there, thoughts that we're having, things that we're afraid of, anxiety building in our life. It's all going back to examine and repivot the way that we think, the way that we're framing our life, and how we are just have an automatic bag of reactions in our life to how we respond to things. Instead of pulling new tricks out of our mind, it's time to unlock your potential through taking action and recognize where the leaks are in your life. Recognize who's taking that action away from you. And I'm going to tell you, it's not people, it's you. It's the way you're reacting to certain people. It's the way you're reacting this morning, and it's the way that you're thinking right now. And that's all tied into your entire life, to your nervous system, how you feel, whether you're tired, worn out, angry, whether you procrastinate, how you save, how you spend, is within limits. So when you're taking action, it's within limits. Your grocery list is adjusted to how much you can eat, how long it's going to stay fresh, what I feel like eating. Your life is going to be within the means that you can afford. And so we put all these limits. It's like when a bullet takes off, it has power, but eventually its trajectory starts going down. It loses energy. Our life's like that. And the energy that we have, we want to take and use for us. A bullet doesn't shoot off looking for other bullets. Hey, let me help you get to where we're going. Or rockets not taking other things. You want to stay true to yourself. Taking action, your energy, limiting your day to what you can handle. Limiting your day to accountability. Yes, that's right, KJ. Welcome in, sweetie. These are the things that we're going to take control of. Taking action is being mindful of what I'm taking in, who I'm listening to, where do I want to go, and where is my energy leading me to? Where is my habitual thought pattern? Where does it need to be changed? Where do I need to go back into my life and stop complaining about what I don't have control over, like traffic or bills or gas prices or all the divisive rhetoric about politics and who's the president and what's going on with America? What about this? Let's just talk about right here, taking action here. Point down to yourself right in here. What do you have control over today? Your thoughts, your emotions, and how you're going to package your energy and where that energy is going to go to and where the energy from information that you have today. Introduce yourself to a new you, to where you're fed up with wearing certain masks, being certain ways. Liberate yourself from what impedes you. And I'm talking about the way you think, the way you feel, where your energy goes. You got a pot of gold inside of you. And when you just start pulling the weeds, you can't hate, you can't discriminate, and you have to love yourself, especially when it comes to hating yourself or I can't get this right, this is never going to be right, and things just aren't working out for me. Well, they're not going to when you keep saying that. But when I get up and things are going better for me, I can be myself more. I'm more authentic. I'm not going to think that way. I'm not going to let this one thing that always bother me anymore. That's taking action. That's the 9th week. And next week, we're going to talk about, well, I forgot what the 10th week is, but we're going to have an overview of everything. One foot in front of the other. That's it. A step at a time, a thought at a time. That is, where is my thoughts right now? They're going to lead into tomorrow. They're going to lead into tonight. They're going to lead into this afternoon. What I want you to do is journal down some things you're looking forward to this year. I have a wedding to go to of a niece in December, right? I'm going to get a new knee. I have some things that I'm looking forward to because they're going to benefit my life. We need to have relationships in our life. We need to have love, but the relationship to take action in your life, to change your life better in your thought, is that relationship with yourself. These things that you know already you should be doing that you're not doing. The changes that you want to make but you're afraid to make. This is what we want to do in our life. We want to make ourselves comfortable in our head, knowing that it's our energy that's at stake here. And we can't lose that energy to a mindset that hasn't been reworked. When they say, hey, we're going to rewire your brain, and there's so many things that just go over educational. Let's just talk layman terms here, okay? And it's pretty dang simple. What you feel comes from your thoughts and your actions that creates your reality. That's it right there. That's how basic it is. You're not a psychopath. You're not somebody you can't afford things. You just need to train your mind and tell yourself you can do this. You have to have belief in yourself and in your ways. You want to have belief that you're going to take action in your life and you're going to write down where your changes need to be applied, what you're going to pivot to go forward to take action. Today is a day for me. I had to take action in my life to get up at 4 o'clock this morning. And I'm not bragging. Have a great day, KJ. I'm not bragging, but at 4 to get deliveries done, my business and other things out of my way so I don't miss this twice in 1 week. Because I get something out of it. And people that come in here get something out of it. People that come and go, they get something out of it. So being fully present and engaged in your moment without judgment or distraction is taking action. Journaling down some things that you want to. I'm reading some scribbles. So when you're speaking words in a conversation or text, carefully speak them. Make sure you're saying what you need. Don't make sure it's not to please somebody else. Express how you feel. Communicate truly. And when you do that with people, you're going to be able to do that more with yourself. So it's you that you need to take action. It's you that you need to give empathy to. It's you that you need to understand and love. It's your thoughts that you have to curate during the day, that you're taking care of. So if your whole life was right here, how are you going to take care of it? You have to be delicate. You can't give the energy to somebody else. You can't cook your favorite meal and feed it to somebody who's a taker because they don't have limits. And us givers, we don't know what limits are because we give too much. We have to recognize where we're losing our energy. And some of that is going to help you identify from where your fears come from. That's going to help you identify these pivotal moments in your life that created a narrative that keeps you stagnant from growth, or it impedes you from growing, or puts you in the same cycle all of the time. That's the autopilot, where you're just a bag of reaction, where you're just not really in control of your life. Your life is happening to you. And things are just happening in your life. And that's what we want to avoid. That's what we want to avoid in life. We want to avoid things in our life that impede our growth. Automatic reactions that we know are better. And some of them were just now, we got so tolerant, we may not even realize they're there. They're that automatic in our life. The way that we get up, what our routine is in the morning, whatever your routine is, write it down carefully. And where is there room to maybe get up earlier, give yourself self-love, having time to journal things down, having time to take action, that your life's on a course that's going to lead you to happiness and peace, a peaceful life where there's tranquility in it. So I'll give you a story. As I get older, I've had some knee problems, and I've changed. I'm not on a diet, but I've changed what I eat. I put a little workout room in. a little sign of things where I can take time to where my habits need to change. I've never really been a walker, someone that exercises, this and that. I've really always eaten what was in front of me. So these are things that I'm changing and I can feel results from it. I can feel better in my mind. I'm less tired and I sleep better. So we're organizing our health. So when we're organizing our thoughts, and we don't want a racy mind. We don't want a mind that we don't know what to do next, or we're just waiting on some reaction, or we're going to wait for love, or wait for anything monetary, or wait for comfort, or wait for peace. These are things we create. They don't come to us. Peace is effort into protecting your well-being through boundaries. That's where peace comes from. It comes from right inside you. Feeling comfortable about yourself and not having fears. There's not a fear release fairy that shows up at your door and does that for you. It's a personal self-examination where we repivot these narratives that we have in our life to remove away some of our fears, exposing ourselves to some of our fears, or seeing ourselves in that situation of what are we afraid of what someone's going to say? Are we afraid that we can't afford it? Are we afraid how we're going to look? Are we afraid to be embarrassed? What is it? Where's the part of the desire of something that you want? And where's the wall of fear that's not allowing you to get there? When you're journaling and you look at that and you see yourself there, now what's the problem? I told a story here one time of somebody who had some fear of going on a mountain trip. And one of their fears was just basically of heights. And so they didn't go on the trip. And when the people that did go on the trip came back, I don't know how to keep my stereo going because it took me so long to get ready this morning. I don't know what's going on. When the people came back from the trip, they had regret that they didn't go because they were scared. Oh, you should have went. And they saw pictures and they're like, I could have done that. There's so much in life that sometimes that we're afraid of, and there's no reason to be afraid of. And when we write and we examine that into our life to find out why that can't happen for us, we'll just find that moment in our life that pivoted our mindset into believing that that's a bad thing. It's kind of like if you've ever been in an automobile accident in an intersection, you're really looking at intersections after that for many more years. You get back to comfortable, you forget all about that. It's called healing. It's about finding a wound and then exposing ourselves to what created that wound through writing and keeping our peace, talking to ourselves about it, and overcoming that wound. Otherwise, the same thing keeps happening. So we have to look out for that. And talking about toxic people that have created wounds in our lives, or people that have been in our lives that are toxic, those are just people you just remove out of your life. There's people that in your life that are going to tell or say or do things that are going to create triggers. Now, I'm not saying that's that person's fault, but one way to deal with them is just don't have them in your life. But you still want to journal to find out what it is where the trigger came from. Or let me tell you something. I'm going to just draw back a little bit from that. As in my lifetime, I've hired and employed more than 1,000 people. There's no doubt about it. And I'm not going to even say if I've ever really fired anybody, but you ask yourself this one question. Do I benefit from this employee? Is this somebody that I'm benefiting from? In a job world, you're benefiting from somebody in a job. They're going to, in exchange for a paycheck, do good, pay them as good as you can, treat them as good as you can, and then they get the job done. Now, with that being said, let's go to thoughts. Because as an employer, you're in charge of who stays and goes in your organization, right? You can fire a person, you can lay them off, you can change their duties, anything that you want. Now, let's take it to what everybody's in charge of, the thoughts inside of our head. And ask yourself one question: how do I benefit from this way of thinking? Do I benefit thinking this way? Does it help me when I have this thought? And if it doesn't, that's the thought you fire. You fire it from ever coming into your life again. It's not allowed in your space anymore. Or there's different thoughts that, I'd like to really work on this thought. I'd like to expand my mind a little bit with this way of thinking. And I want to invite it into my boardroom and have a conversation with this thought through writing, through seeing this thought in my life every day. It's almost like a songbird. Has anybody ever been impressed being outside and actually seeing a hummingbird in your yard? And it's like moves like a robot, like this, up and down. And you are impressed with that. See, we can create thoughts that come into our life like that in a piece. Now, that's visual. Now, visualize some of the thoughts that you want to fire today. Think about some of the characteristics in your life that you would like to fire because they impede you from removing those thoughts. Is it regular action, conversation? Is it something that you're doing that's really not doing anything for anybody other than somebody else? Is it energy that's leaking? So you're in control of all of this. So when we're taking action, we're doing an inventory, we're in charge of the in and out right up here. And you're going to have thoughts. They're going to be intrusive, but just think about them. They're always going. Just like if you're looking at the busy highway, they're all passing by. We're not going to concentrate on any one thought in our life. But what thoughts do you have that make you feel good, that make you feel comfortable? Or a thought is a memory from a parent, a grandparent, or a day at school, or one summer day that just lasted forever. Are those good thoughts? Invite some more of those into your life. Because thoughts are what triggers your future, your feelings. Staying in the present, acknowledging what's around you and that you are safe, knowing what thoughts you're going to fire, keeping a journal and writing it down. There's nothing like keeping track of your thoughts and your feelings, because one day you'll just be like, you know why I do that? I do that because there was a summer where I was in camp and I didn't get picked into a group that I was supposed to go into where I thought I fit, and nobody in that camp picked me. So I was in an alternate group, but we won. And there's things in our life that we want to look into about that happened and where we think we belong and where we actually do belong. Because you're going to find that you're several steps sometimes under your potential. That's what this 10 weeks was about. Taking action. Let's look at this. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what's distracting us. Let's talk about the journey we've taken, about the people that have been in here, that have been coming in. On week 1, when we were talking about personal growth through conscious effort, understanding personal growth. And what personal growth, what is it to you now? Has anything that we've talked about over the last 9 weeks helped you feel that you're on a road to personal growth? Overcoming some barriers to express yourself about it or even tell others? Setting goals and intentions about our thoughts. And some people think setting a goal is, okay, I want to have a house and I want to go fishing every week and I want to go to Italy and Hawaii and watch a volcano go off and I want to go down to Cape Canaveral and watch all the rockets take off. That's a bucket list. A goal in life is something that enhances your life for a better experience in the moments. So a good goal would be, I would like to talk to myself more and realize I deserve to be mindful and what treats me right in life. I would like to engage in more activity that makes me feel more authentic. I would like to have a goal in my life to where I don't have as many intrusive thoughts or I'm not going to let some wounds bother me. I see myself advancing week by week. By this Christmas, I want to be able to have a Saturday to do nothing but something for me, even if it's nothing, because nothing is something, right? That's the power that we have. And if you take that back to what you're in charge of in your head, this is power. You got it. I don't have it without you. I don't have it without me. This is the power this is something that you recognize. You already have it. Everything that we talked about, you have the potential to do all of that. 100%. Developing a growth mindset would be a goal. Building resilience, bouncing back from adversity, knowing that you're the fastest at the 100-yard race, but you're also fast when there's hurdles in it. You know where they are. You're going to step just right to jump it, right? If there's a place that you go that triggers you, try to go there at a different time. So these are hurdles that we have in our life to be ready for them and make them funny. If it's somebody that you see or an event that you have to go to, just know that there'll be jackasses there. Cultivating your self-awareness through all this. These are what we've talked about these 10 weeks. Cultivating. Now we're at 9. Taking action of all of this so you can overcome where you were 10 weeks ago. And it's a step-by-step process. A step-by-step process. And there's nothing better than putting a little grease on your thinking. Nice affirmations for yourself. A pat on the back to yourself. I got this. Or listen to some good shorts, read a good book, and identify where you fit in there. Where does it resonate? Where, excuse me, everything we've talked about this last half hour, how long ever we've been talking, what resonates? Where do you know I can see a little bit of that in there? Cultivating self-awareness, we talked about that, is the foundation of personal growth. And so is gratitude. You can't have anything more if you're not happy with what you got. Right? Fear of failure and fear of judgment and fear of change is all noise in your head. It's a distraction. And you got to realize it's just like your phone ringing when you're watching your favorite movie and at that perfect part of like you're just on the edge of your seat and somebody knocks at your door, your phone rings, right? That's noise. That's noise. So sometimes we learn to shut our phones off. Not be available to the outside world while you're working on yourself. That's a big one. To not be available. Not be available to the noise. Because when I got to leave my phone on. I have to take my phone to dinner. I won't go out to supper with you if you're staring at your damn phone. Forget that. I like my human interaction. I was at supper the other night. My phone wasn't with me. The thing is, this is autopilot stuff. There's got to be times where you break away from the noise. There has to be times where you can live. Scrolling's not living. Having interruptions is not living. Having a bag of reactions and reaction to life is not living. Life is how do I take action truly, bro? By just your thoughts, knowing what you can change, taking time away from anything that you feel is automatic in your life, staying in your mindset. Start journaling and find what your narrative is, where your authentic self is. And you don't have to start tomorrow, next week. So you can just do it now by kicking out thoughts in your head or beliefs about yourself that you feel impede your life. And it's all there. All the tools that you need are there. So how you take actions, you just tell yourself, starting right now, it's going to be more about me. And that doesn't make you a narcissist. It's going to be, I don't want you to lose your energy. You're not going to take all of your health food and give it to somebody else. You're not going to take your mindset and give it away. You're going to get your validation from what's inside you. You're going to rewrite a couple of scripts in your life. You're the author, director, and everything. You can't let other people's toxic bullshit be the wind on your sails. Only you can take yourself forward. Only you can take the energy to constantly keep going forth. When you stop because somebody said something, or you stop because there's a fear, or you stop because of humiliation or this or that, if it makes you feel good and gives you peace, then do it. If it's legal, do it. Do it. Make your life happen. Nobody's going to come bring you happy. Nobody's going to come bring you peace. Nobody's going to come bring you anything. These are things that we create, that we get inside, that were already given to us because we're not some casual, meaningless part of evolution. We are created by love, and we're here to love. And today's a hard world to love in, with divisive rhetoric, people talking politics and hate and division and this and that. It just rips you apart. So start right here by loving yourself, understand other people's perspectives, and understand people are going to be different. There's the fastest runner, and there's the fastest runner over hurdles. Who trains more? The guy that's jumping the hurdles. So it's about being consistent, not intense. So you take action by little bitty steps, recognizing some things that you want to take action on. It's a freaking really good question, too. A lot of times I don't look down there, but I try to, and I try to be active in this. Next week is our final 10th week. I apologize to anybody that's in here now, but I wasn't here on Tuesday, but I made it for the week. I've had some weeks that were short as we get busier. Sometimes during the summer, some of the commercial buildings that we work in, for example, we're starting a new school. We start building it July 1st next week. And so being mindful and self-aware of what changes you want to make in your life and some goal setting is always good. I'm going to pull out some of my notes and thoughts about life to share with you. So, a couple of little things. These are some tools that I think that you need in life. And there's all just some notes of mine that that page is empty. There's 2 or 3 of them. That sometimes I jot these down after our live. I want to just share some. So you need tools. So to live intentionally, you're going to need some tools. So this is still part of how do I do that? How do I take action? So these are some of the tools you need. You have to be mindful. Gratitude journaling shifts your focus from what is missing to abundance. Can you believe that if you write down what you're grateful for, more abundance will come to your life? Because your life's about abundance and what you have. We've had talks in here. You don't even realize your house has air conditioning until it breaks in July. You don't realize your house has heat until there's no gas in December. We don't realize that we have somebody we really love until they die. So there's a lot of things in life that we need to be mindful and grateful of. And there's so many, many things that just aren't there, that are there that we're not acknowledging that is in our life. Think of that. Visualize your goals and your dreams and motivate and clarify your path. That's taking action. Motivate and clarify your path. Couple of my notes of gratitude. If you'd like to know what I'm writing about, combat negative self-talk and reinforce a positive mindset on the meetings today. I don't know what the ones those were. And remind yourself of your successes and realize that your failures created them. Isn't that awesome? So failure, you mean, is important in our life? Well, heck yeah. You can't have cold without hot. You can't have good without bad, which means you can't be successful without failing. Goal setting, break down my goals into some small steps this week. They need to be a little more manageable and achievable. I need to boost my sense of accomplishment. Something I recognize about myself, boosting my sense of accomplishment. So I don't always feel what I didn't get done. And that goes back to, what did we do that was right today? Just because I didn't check all my emails because fucking people think I have to, doesn't necessarily mean I didn't get anything done. What's on my checklist for today? Think of yourself as a lawnmower, right? In the beginning of spring. You're going to take it to get sharp blades, fresh oil change, air filter, all these things, right? We as people are machines and we need some time to get greased too. And if we're just living on autopilot, we're collecting dust, because dust on your mind, because your mind is settled living on autopilot and not opening your mind. I used an analogy last week. If we close a whole house up, a big house, no open the windows, no open the doors for several months, the air's going to get stagnant. But when you open it after those 2 months, air goes through it. That's how our minds work. If you're not opening your mind to new things and new ways of living, it gets stagnant. That's where autopilot comes in. That's where life is happening to you. You're not living it. So open your doors. Be grateful. Have gratitude in your life. I did some reflection and I'm starting to understand a little more of my values. I might have let them go some. My experiences and my emotions were put aside and they weren't guarding me as they guided me as they were. I need to make more authentic choices. So staying in touch with our emotions and our feelings, because we can get away from them when life gets busy, are some things that we can do. Find a kaleidoscope reflection, your thoughts and emotions. Find that kaleidoscope in your thoughts. So these are the thoughts that they're color. They're bringing in life. They're that hummingbird stopping in your backyard. They're that one summer day. They're that favorite conversation, your favorite taste of an ice cream, right? Um, don't worry about your appearance in your life. Worry about the details of your soul. So it's not how I look, but what's the detail of our soul, our real selves? What's do we hold grudges? Do we not forgive? Do we have people we're pissed off at that are having great lives right now that don't even know you're mad? So you're a hostage of your own taking? Think of that. Think of the person you don't call or talk to anymore. There's a good reason, stop talking to them. If there's not and it's dumb and stupid and you forgot, well, reach out with new boundaries and smile at yourself and tear away the weight of unexpressed hidden fears. So I don't even know. This is pretty good. So when you're smiling at yourself, you're tearing away the weight of unexpressed hidden fears. Things we don't understand because we possibly might not be. That's true, Alicia. We'll always repeat bad patterns and we don't get to the root of things. That's so true. I hope you're having a great day. So smile at yourself and tear away the weight of unexpressed hidden fears. These are repeated things, like Alicia's talking about right there. The root of our bad decision making. What causes that is sometimes we're more comfortable not dealing with and putting things aside. That's a comfort level choice. Sometimes we had to get uncomfortable and wiggle around to get comfortable. It takes wiggling and moving your body and opening the doors to your mind. Not just to find out who you are, but What is it that we can become? So when we're taking action, it's because we want a destination or somewhere different that we're wanting to be in our life. And we can think about of who we're going to be and who we are and where the best part of us is. We're going to sit down and just, man, finally have a minute to unwind and really enjoy a nice beverage, a tea, coffee, or, you can have a beer, anything. Just really have a good conversation with yourself, like your own best friend. And think about the abundance and the gratitude in your life. So as you do this more, your kaleidoscope will be more vibrant and your warmth will be recognized. So your warmth will be recognized. So that means that you'll attract the right people into your lives. That means that you have self-respect. You don't need other people's respect. Self-respect to yourself. In control of your character. Living your life monitored by yourself by being mindful. Monitoring your own life and your passions and having gratitude. And other people will notice it, that you've won your own revolution. So be sparked by your reflections in your life. Be happy for your failures as they may have taught you something. Be grateful for what you don't recognize. And that's one of the things in life. A lot of people don't realize how much abundance they have in their life. Instead, they make it about thoughts and feelings that they can't control, but they can. When you turn your focus of your thoughts and your feelings into things you're grateful for, lots of things, grandkids, regular kids, relationships, jobs, air conditioning, shoes, socks, the choice of a wardrobe, the warmth of the sun, a plan and somewhere to go soon, things that are going right. These are things that are automatically happening to you. They were so automatic that you now take them for granted. That sometimes we complain about it. But we don't notice that sometimes till those things are gone. Staying in touch with gratitude brings in abundance. Thanking God for your blessings and asking Him to keep blessing you is a right. He wants you to recognize that. All of this can be sparked by reflection, and all of this can be sparked by journaling in your life. All of this can be just time to take recognition of where you're going and how you're feeling about yourself. Being forgiving to yourself, and don't hold grudges against other people, and don't blame anybody in your life for anything. They were just being human too. So we can't do other people's inventory. We can't judge them because life doesn't come with a book of how to be yourself. That's a book that you have to write. And you've already have some chapters that you think are closed, but they're not, because you need to go back and rewrite the narrative that some experiences and failures and embarrassments were actually God sent. All sparked by reflection, all sparked by, I'm going to journal a little bit. I'm going to ask myself a question. I'm going to just take some time to figure this out. Not all of it at once. But the best part is, of everything in your life, is that you are a masterpiece. And once you discover that you're a masterpiece, you'll realize there's more work to do. Isn't that something? So you're a masterpiece in your art. Anybody ever watch Bob Ross And at the beginning, he talks, it's your little tree. You put your little tree here, what? Yes, you are a masterpiece. Absolutely. And when he's doing his art, it's like you just think that's so great. But then he adds a shed. Then he adds that. So you're almost painting art, your sunset, but you can cover it up. So we're the artist, the writer, the author. There's so many things in our life that we are. And we're definitely, all of us are masterpieces in our own right. Because I don't think that mistakes are born. I think that good and bad's created. And what do you want to create in your life today? What actions are you taking to change what you want to change today? And what tools are you using? What do you have on the table? What cards are you playing? Let me tell you what cards you throw out: envy, jealousy, comparison, dislike, hate, not forgiving. Let's pull some of this out of there. Can you see your life without some of these things? And let's calm down on the noise. Let's think about what's going right instead of what's going wrong. Let's concentrate on what we have instead of what we want. And let's concentrate on it's going to be self-loathing, yes, of what is happening. Let's do it. Let's work on our masterpiece and fix our heads. I've got some really good ideas for my next series. My next series, by the way, is on YouTube, and we got over 60,000 followers now on subscribers or followers, whatever they're called on YouTube. Thanks to Brian and people that help and watch us. And you can hit us through the link tree. I'm not going away from TikTok. It'll still be on there, but I'm still working on my little studio. We got into my new office, which I'm happy about. And I'm also happy that you're going to recognize that you are a masterpiece and that you really matter, because you really do. And if you don't feel that way, and if there's something that's keeping you away from it, try to journal. Hit our link tree. You can watch some of our shorts. It's free. I'm not asking you for anything. I'm just asking you to participate in your life. That's what I want you to do, because when you start participating in your own life, you get to all the rewards and live the life you want to live. Take the action. I'll see you next Tuesday. Have a fantastic weekend. And if you're able to do something for yourself, then do it. And I'm so glad that you're here. Happy weekend. Farm Girl, I'm not going to forget that book that you're talking about. And Alicia, thank you, and Farm Girl, for your ideas on what our next series is going to be. We're going to work on some exciting stuff together. Have a great day, everyone.